Thank you so much for being with us tonight and screening excerpts from Finding Your Roots Season 8. You'll see my friends here with me. It's Girl Power Night at WQLN. I will introduce them all in 1 minute, but before we move on, I want to remind our audience that you have a chance to win a 6-month subscription to Ancestry.com. My producer just put the link to the survey in the chat. If you go and take the survey, you will have it, one random person will win that subscription. One caveat, you do have to say that you want to be contacted for further events from your PBS station. That will open up a box for you to put in your name and email address. That's the only way I will know how to contact you. But don't worry, we're not going to spam you. That's not what we do. We're just going to get a list of those. So when you take the survey, say you want to know about more events from WQLN, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to, but go ahead and do that. And we will pick one lucky winner, and I will be in contact with you next week for that winner of the 6-month subscription to Ancestry.com. Okay, so now I would love to introduce to you our esteemed panelists here. I'm going to start on my screen. I'm not sure where they are on your screen, but the first one I see, Amanpreet Override from Erie Asian Pacific American Association. Thank you for joining us tonight. And you will all recognize her from doing the story about Diwali. I also see Nikan Asteri Carpenter from the city of Erie. Hi, Nikan. And Nikan actually introduced me to Mona Kang from the Gurdwara Sikh Cultural Society of Erie. Thank you for joining us, Mona. And of course, Courtney Barron from the Erie County Public Library. You saw her in one of the videos as well. So ladies, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you.
All right, so I think we are going to start with just a general question. Courtney, we've seen a lot. Finding your roots is all about finding your roots and understanding how to find out who your ancestors are. What would be the first step if somebody wanted to find their ancestry?
That's a great question to start out with. I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like when you watch Finding Your Roots, you're like, I need to find all of my roots, clearly. But the first, I think, best way to start is if you've never done any genealogy research, start really basic. Start with an ancestor that you actually know and can trace to, because doing that's going to help you learn how to find different sorts of records. For example, here at the library, we do have the Ancestry.com library subscription, so you can always come in and use the computers up in the heritage room, but practice finding a census record of a relative that you know. And once you get those little practices in, that's going to help you dive deeper. Become familiar with your local history resources, such as the Heritage Room, the Historical Society, the genealogy group that's up here. All of those are fantastic resources. And there's so much online now. I mean, we're moving to the digital age completely. There's so much online. So I would say start small, and then work your way to kind of those more distant relatives to get that practice.
That's great advice, Courtney. Thank you. Nika, yeah.
Yeah, I have a difficulty on doing that, though, Courtney, because I'm coming from Indonesia. A lot of my ancestors back in Indonesia may not be doing this DNA tracing, right? Because I did the 23andMe a few years back, and the result just like disappointing. Or even if when I went to Heritage Room, like the person there tell me like, well, find out your last name and then go back. Well, my last name is my husband's last name. The way in Indonesia, people in Indonesia, we don't have a last name or family name the same. If you have 4 children, they will have different 4 last name. So how do we do that?
Yeah, so this is something I'm actually still kind of learning about too, of how to research these histories that aren't as well preserved. I think I can safely say that a lot of genealogy research is very European based. And one of I know it's a personal goal for myself, is to make more records accessible in our heritage room and how to research those. So for those, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I have a good answer for that yet. I've got a whole wonderful list of books I'm trying so hard to get a hold of to learn more about that. So it's still learning for me. I'm sorry, Nikin, I don't have a great answer, but yeah, it's something I think that we're going to start seeing transition to, that there is going to be more researching into more of these underrepresented cultures and communities. We're starting to see that now, and I can't wait to see how it continues to develop. So sorry, I don't have a good answer on that one, because I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
Okay, looking forward to that.
I don't know is a very acceptable answer. I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, I don't know. I'd rather you tell me I don't know than, you know, say something outside, but say you will find it and follow up with her.
There you go.
That's great. I would like to move to Amanpreet right now. Amanpreet, you did the story about local cultural heritage surrounding Diwali, which is the Festival of Light. And we had a great time in our studio. And of course, we had to cut it down to about 2 minutes. So what in a nutshell, why do you continue to celebrate your culture and pass it on to the next generation?
I feel celebrating your culture is very, very important, especially for the next generation. If we do not celebrate our cultures, they're as is, diluted, I feel, from one generation to another, but then they would not know. So they lose that sense of self-identity. To give them that self-identity, to give them that confidence, it is very, very important that we pass these things on to our next generations. How we do, what we do, it is very important for them to see us do those things, actually. So when we did Diwali at my home, my kids could see firsthand, every year we do it with Indian Association, and yes, they see with other Indian families too. Like each family has their own little tradition also going on. Somebody will do puja, which is like, worshipping the deities, and somebody will go to their temples, or we go to the Gurdwara as well. So yeah, different things each family has planned and does around Diwali. But then these are the things that give a unique identity to our kids. If you look at America it's not white America, it's not black America, it's not brown America. We have all shades currently in America. So to stand out in that, to have your own identity, it is very, very important that we continue to celebrate these festivals so that our next generations know where they stand on the spectrum. Like the diversity in America, just to celebrate that diversity, it is very, very important.
Can I also interject here?
Absolutely.
This generation is born here, so they do not have the experiences which I, Amanpreet, or Nikin have had back home. Celebrating our culture is kind of a way that we pass on what we experienced growing up as kids to them, with the hope that, they would have some kind of cultural and religious connection, with our country or back home. If we don't do it, I do not know how else can we sustain that culture.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna stick with you, Mona. In your video, we spent a lot of time. We spent about 2 hours at the temple with you on that Sunday, and we enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you again for welcoming us in. One thing that we didn't see in the video was the reason that your langar started, like as far as like the tiers of society. Can you talk to our audience a little bit about how your langar became to be a tradition?
Oh, absolutely. So Sikhism was founded in 1469 by Guru Nanak, who we believe to be our, the founder of our religion. So he started this tradition of langar, or kind of, community food for everybody. It's a way of connecting with people in many different ways. One, when you all work together, whether it's chopping the vegetables, whether it's doing the groceries, you connect with each other. It's fun. You not only learn how to chop these veggies, but it bonds. It's a bonding experience. Then the cooking experience, and then the serving. We all sit together, and everybody's welcome, regardless of where you come from. We all sit together. We serve the same food, regardless again of where you are from or who you are from. And it's the food is vegetarian. And again, this is another way of showing inclusion to everybody. Most people eat veggies, I hope. So that is how it started. Sikhism has three important pillars. One of them is selfless service, and langar is a very important part of that pillar, which is the selfless service to the community, because you are not only giving your time and energy, you're using your other resources and whatever they might be.
One thing I would like to add to that is I also am a Sikh by birth. I'm married to a Hindu, but I am Sikh by birth. So one very important aspect of langar, just like Mona told us, is pangat. Pangat is called line. So we all sit on the floor. Why on the floor? Because that's a way of saying that it humbles you down. Rich or poor, no matter what your economic status is, you all sit in the same line. You'll be served the same food. There is no, if you go to a restaurant, you pick according to your pocket. But here, this is free food for everybody, and it's the same food served at the same place. So you sit down and the food will be served to you. The people who serve food, that is kind of a service also. So you will see little kids also, passing on napkins or things like that, because this is a value that is inculcated in them at a very early stage. They see their parents doing it and they want to do it. And that's how they grow up, learning by seeing.
And it's so ingrained in our identity as a Sikh,
right.
It's ingrained in me. It will be ingrained in my kids. It's not, They are never going to question, why are we doing this? How much should I be doing this? It's just inborn. I do not know. You look up your parents, you look up others, and you just do the same thing.
Exactly.
And we have never questioned, why do we do this? We just do this because, it's not just community service. It unites you. You share, it teaches you equality, love for everybody, and you share whatever you have, and obviously you are contributing hopefully towards the society in some way.
Well, let me tell you something I really love. I'm a Muslim, but as I've been visiting the langar several times, and they have a good food. I can vouch for that.
Niken, did you actually know, and while that langar is a Persian word?
Yeah,
it was actually started by the Sufis back in 12th century. It was actually started by the Sufis, and I think but now it has more or less become synonymous with the Sikh temple.
Temples.
We also said a small prayer area in Indonesia as langar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wonderful. Niken, I want to talk to you for a minute, because you are the New Americans liaison for the city of Erie. And congratulations on all the amazing work that you have done over the past few years.
Yes.
this is clapping and sign language, so we're going to do that too.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about what it means to you to help other people come over here as new Americans and be able to continue their own cultural traditions and coordinate with our society here.
Well, it's, there's sometimes the difficulty part. I'm talking about difficult part first. As an immigrant, right? You live in both worlds, but sometimes you belong to none. You feel like that. But here, the city of Erie, if you ever heard the mayor talk about his vision, is the first thing on the line is that this Erie celebrates rich cultural diversity. That's the first thing. So we do as much as we could in our authority to make that happen. We have, if you ever come attend the Celebrate Erie for the past few years ago or 3 years ago, we have a multicultural district right across from the city hall. So all the vendors, all the dancers, all the artists from different cultural background can be there and help also non-immigrant or the long-term resident to understand our culture. The mayor has called New American Council. This is Mayor Advisory Council. 30 members of the council coming, most of them are the leaders from the different countries and also refugee and immigrant, and some of them actually organizations serving refugees and immigrant, but most of them are faith-based or community leaders from refugee and immigrant community. We try to provide language access for people so that they don't feel hesitant to access our services, if they have any difficulty in language. Like earlier I mentioned to Courtney, we translated city calendar resources. There are 4 pages of them in 8 different languages. And then we try to create this video on how to access city services. In the process of that, hopefully we can release it this month. Every year, we always have this video featuring our community members. In May, we do with the Asian community to create this Asian Heritage Month. In June, we have interviewed our immigrant and refugee community to talk about Refugee and Immigrant Heritage Month. In September, we always have a week dedicated for Welcoming Week. And if you're not aware, the city of Erie actually also stream the citizenship ceremony that we have here in Erie. We do have 10 citizenship ceremonies throughout the year, and now you cannot come in person due to the COVID, but you can watch it live on Facebook. And typically before COVID, we have 50 citizens every ceremony. We do have about 25 per ceremony right now after the pandemic, but we're still doing it.
That's wonderful. I'm so excited for you to continue that work. I have a question from the audience that I think I'm going to post to Courtney. The question is, any tips on searching Irish records? Our audience member says she's stuck on the 1800s on her maternal line and is having difficulty finding my ancestor and more specifically where he immigrated in from Ireland. Wound up in New Jersey, even though the papers were found renouncing the Queen when he was Americanized. Not sure where to start in Ireland. Do you have any advice for Cassandra?
Yeah, I have some advice. I hope it is helpful. Also, very good timing, St. Patrick's Day around the corner, Irish heritage. So some of the resources I would check out first, if you are local, we do have a lot of books in our heritage room about tracing your Irish ancestry. It'll give you tips and tricks on kind of where to look and where to find records. They might not be super helpful, but I hope they are. And some of them are pretty recent. I did some quick catalog searching, and we do have some as recent as 2017. So So kind of newer and will hopefully provide some better background. On top of that, another resource that you can look into is specific family genealogies, like the book publications that come out. If you can find a connection to some of those family names that have the full genealogies, a lot of them go into detail about extensively on relatives. And the reason I mentioned that is I was doing some looking through of some family history books that were recently donated to the library, and just kind of paging through to find some connections here to Erie. There was a lot talking about people immigrating over from Ireland and where they were from and whatnot. So those are really good resources. You do have to know some specifics, but they're still great resources. And we have some here at the library. We're kind of working on building those up a little bit as we get them. And a lot now too, depending on their copyright, could be online for free. We're hitting that age where 1922 is now out of copyright. So a lot of things are being digitized now, book-wise. So that's probably some good resources to start with.
Great. Thank you so much. So why, I'm going to open this up to the whole panel. What can we do right now, us in the audience, to better preserve our heritage for our next generations, so that they're not asking their PBS station these same questions 30 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now? How can we better document our heritage, our cultural traditions, and what we hold important, so that we can make it easier to let our future generations know where they came from?
Yeah, so I'll jump in. I'll say, first of all, we should always encourage these fairs, these festivals in Erie, like we have, Asian festival, Greek festival, Polish festival, German, like you name it, we have it here. And I bet many cities have these things. So we should always encourage and take, especially our kids, to these festivals. This introduces them not only to their own culture, but to different cultures. They get to, taste. Secondly, through kitchen, food. I believe any culture, there are three important parts: festivities, family and friends, and then food. These three F's are three very important components. So food is so important. You go there, you sample their food, you go to these restaurants and you cherish their food and let them experiment. So if your palate is, allows you, please experiment and see what diverse regions have, what they have to offer. The third thing is family and friends. Don't restrict yourself to just your own, I'm an Indian, I'm just going to be friends with Indian. No, just expand your circle. Look around, find out what other people, what is their history, where are they coming from, find out about their roots, about their culture, about any intriguing things about, any intriguing stories about their culture that they can share with you. And by the same token, share yours with them. These are the three things that I feel like one must do. And that's how we can preserve our, cultural heritage. That's how I feel.
I think that's well said.
Oh, go ahead, Nikan.
Yeah, that's sorry, Courtney. I think that's well said, Aman. I really agree with that. And I would like to, give a shout out to the Indian community that's very actively bringing up their cultural heritage here. Like tomorrow, they're even going to have this multicultural dance night, if I'm not mistaken. If tomorrow at 6 p.m. if I'm not mistaken, right? I mean, you guys can check out their Facebook page. The information is there, and it's free, by the way, and it's free. So I don't know, are they serving food, Aman, Mona?
No, it's a Gannon. It's a Gannon, and it's a Gannon event.
Oh, okay.
But I think they did, you have to pre-book your seat, but it's open to the public, but no.
Yeah, it's just because of COVID reasons. I think they want to maintain the number. So it's just because of that. But yeah. DAPS sent 2 entries too.
I'll
Yeah,
chime in
as
here
Aman
real quick.
pointed,
Oh,
sorry,
go ahead,
go ahead.
Mona.
Now, as Aman pointed out, raising awareness about yourself, where you come from, is the most important part. And, whether it's educating people through, we have different social media, these different, technology outlets that we can use, or, City of Erie does a great job in helping organize different events, whether it's a Greek festival, Polish festival, and I think, take your kids out, go out. You will not be disappointed. You will learn something. And I have lived in 4 continents, in many different countries on those 4 continents. And interestingly, it's people outside of United States have this notion that Americans do not want to learn about the world beyond their own country, which may or may not be true. But I would say, the best way to experience these is, if you cannot travel, is go to these festivals. Majority of them, they showcase the dances, what people wear, few things. And I think, the Children's Museum does a great job, start them young. And the more we can learn about other cultures, I think it removes lots of barriers. When these kids grow up, I'm sure they will be much better off knowing different religions, different cultures, than not knowing them.
Yeah, I as a new mom, my little one is 9 months old, so nice little tyke. But one of the things that my husband and I always say is we want to be able for our children to experience different cultures and whatnot. It's not just about where we come from. It's everybody, because I look at it from a public historian background. Well, yes, we create our family history, but our history in general is influenced by everybody in the community. Yes. And if we don't have an understanding of that, then we're not able to truly appreciate the city or place that we've grown up and we've come to know and love. And I'm so excited to take him to all like the heritage festivals this year, because I'm like, he's not going to know any of it, but like, that's something we'll do. And then, experiencing just different foods and whatnot. I'm a huge foodie, so I love food. And, we introduced him to like all kinds of food. Now we're like, here, try this. We went to a birthday party just last week and it had Indian food at it. And we're like, here, try this. It's not too spicy. Like, try this. So I agree with that as a mom wanting my children to grow up, understanding our city's history as a whole is just getting out there, promoting it. But then also I feel like creating those opportunities in our community as well. Like here at the library, we really try to highlight different cultures, different histories. It's one of our goals, and it's something I'm so passionate about, like highlighting. And I think even just doing that and having the whole city coming together and whole community coming together to promote that just makes this perfect little like environment. So I think we live in a great city, Nikan. That's so the whole welcoming Erie. I just love it. It's awesome to live in Erie.
Thank you.
Yes, I second that. And hopefully the past 2 years haven't been easy for any of us. But as a people person, I'm looking forward to the time where we can gather again together and spread that warmth and embrace each other. And hopefully it's on our doorstep. So with that being said, I want to personally thank our amazing panel tonight, Amanpreet, Nikan, Mona, Courtney. Thank you so much again for being here with us tonight. Our partners, we couldn't do it without you: Erie County Public Library, City of Erie, Erie Asian Pacific American Association, Gurdwara Sikh Cultural Society of Erie, and St. Paul's Italian Festival. Remember, we will randomly pick one person who completes the survey. It will be shown in the chat box at the end. All you have to do, make sure that when it says, I want to learn more about upcoming events from my PBS station, you say yes. That gives you an opportunity to put your name and email in there. That's the only way I'll be able to contact you as a winner. If you have any questions, my email is jtaylor, Taylor, at WQLN.org. Brand new episodes of Finding Your Roots start Tuesday, April 12th at 8 p.m. on WQLN PBS. And with that, I wish you all well, be safe, and have a great evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.